following preview has been rated good by the Good, the Bad, and the Weird podcast. Please check out the full episode when it releases on Sunday. I have seen the movie that the Good, the Bad, and the Weird is reviewing about ancient Irish folktales from the award-winning cartoon Saloon, and Charlie screaming into the microphone to ruin the nature of the intro. It's me, Nicho.
And Chris. And Charlie. Thank you, Charlie. You've been so quiet this whole time.
We're doing The Secret of Kells.
My favorite movie. Well, one of my favorite movies. I love this movie. I bullied all you freaks into watching it with me.
For good reason, too. I mean, it's one of those ones where
It's a hard sell. Like, telling people, hey, you want to watch a movie in flat medieval style animation
about ancient Christian religion,
about an illuminated ancient Christian retelling of the four gospels.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those movies that once you watch it, it stands out from everything else because
there's nothing like it.
Yeah, and even the other works of The Secret of Kells don't match or hold up I don't think they hold as much of a candle to it. They're still good.
Yes, and I'm very impressed that they've managed to create this is a very unique art style, and they've done such a great job of transposing it onto their other movies so far. But boy, it was made for this, and
yes.
You can tell, and it's gorgeous.
Yeah, there's just something special about a small studio basically doing a passion project.
Yes.
And how big it can become. As we brought it up towards the end of the episode, this movie was nominated for Best Animated Picture at one of the Oscars, I think the 82nd or 83rd.
The one where Up beat them.
Yeah. But there's just a way that they approach this movie, and they could have made it so much darker or so much more child-friendly, but they approached it in such a well-balanced manner that...
Yeah.
And it's in a tight package that, everything about it is...
It all feel there doesn't feel like there's a whole lot of loose ends.
Yeah, well, I don't think there really is much of a loose end to it.
No, your one complaint about the Sheep Man, we know what happened to Sheep Man. He died.
Yeah, and I do think the ending is slightly rushed.
A little bit, but at the same time, not terribly so.
No.
Because, we kind of know what Uncle's fate is. Man's ancient by the end of the film.
Yeah. And it's really not even really because that's the point of the movie. The movie's not a story about Brendan. It's really about the history of the Book of Kells.
Yes.
Or a fictional history.
A version of the history.
Yeah, an interpretation.
Yes.
Because that's the thing is, if you don't know the history about something, you can kind of make up.
True, and also if the history of something's old enough, there's enough plots missing, there's enough parts gone that you can just kind of fill it in as best you can.
Yeah, and I think they did something great of really bringing in so many influences of not just modern, but also looking at the work itself and the art of its time and making something unique and special out of it.
Definitely, and also the amount of detail shown to their drawing style, to the colors that they picked, all the way down to making sure that the interpretation of the settings is believable, not just in we drew a forest in medieval styling, but we got the town as close as we could while still maintaining this really difficult art style.
Yeah. And yeah, for those who don't know, the style that they drew everything in, for the most part, is a style that's from the 7th to 9th century.
Yes.
Perspective hadn't been invented yet.
Everything's very flat, bright, bold colors, big lines, shapes, lots of angles, lots of circles, and lots of nature themes, which they do a great job of pulling throughout.
Yeah, and while ultimately the movie is about the Book of Kells, I think the lessons that you can find in Brendan's life and around him are very applicable to being an adult too, especially watching our friends as parents now.
Yes, and how there's such a difference in wanting to protect versus wanting to let them flourish and grow.
Yeah, exactly. Or having them learn on their own, having them explore the world and learn through experience.
And also getting to see this desire to learn and grow from the kids themselves. Like, Brendan is a really great example of, like, a well-written, well-animated child.
Yeah. Yeah. No, they just did a great job of everything in this movie. And
oh, yeah.
I mean...
And the music, oh my god, it's so good. The music in this is stellar.
Oh, I didn't really notice the music too much.
You will now that I've told you.
I know you will.
Like, there are some movies where the music is good, but I don't necessarily come back to it. And then there's a handful of movies that I will put on the soundtrack for this sucker, and I will listen to it nonstop. Yeah. And this is one of those.
No, well, I can't say exactly.
But you will now.
I will put this movie on again and again at times, because,
it's... Well, like, and it's one of those movies where you can just kind of passively watch it and enjoy the beauty of it, or you can, like us, sit down and, like, dig into it. And not only can you dig into the movie itself, but you can dig into the history around it.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, like, while this movie's not factual, I think it's a good intro dive into more topics outside of it.
Oh, yeah, there's enough there that is based off of some part of traditional folklore or some part of actual history, like places like Iona or Kells, that you can then spend an afternoon Googling, research, look at the pictures.
Yeah. Well, now it's at the Trinity College in Dublin.
Well, the book is, but the cities still remain, or at least the, like, structures are still there. Yeah. You can see them.
Yeah. No, just from deep down, this movie's just...
Oh, it's a goldmine.
Fantastic, but... Yeah, but... Anywho, this has been the Good, the Bad, and the Weird previews.
Check out the full episode.
Peace!